Arne, you come across so cool, so calm, so collected. We saw a different version of you on Wednesday night, full time, at Goodison Park.
Yeah, definitely after full time. Maybe even during the game a few times already as well. I think in general, or 99% of the time, I can cope with my emotions quite well. But yeah, it's clear that I couldn't cope with my emotions well enough during the game, maybe even, and especially after the game. But that had all to do, especially after the game, how the 7 minutes, the intentional 5, and ended up being 8 extra time minutes went with so many things happening in those 8 minutes.
When you look back on it now in the cold light of day, you've had that time to reflect. I guess you would have done things differently?
No, not I guess. It's clear that I asked for my players to be calm in their head, and I think they were that constantly. I couldn't have asked more from them because it was a very difficult game for them to play as well. But they handled it really well, and I had to act. If I can do this one more time, of course. It's not smart because I didn't help anyone with that. But like I said, emotions took over after these 7 or 8 minutes, which was, I don't think those 7 or 8 minutes will ever be the same again in terms of all the games I'm going to play as a manager. But still, if it happens next time, I should act differently. That's completely clear, because if I could do it one more time, I just had to go in and calm down, and then maybe talk to the referee afterwards. But it's easier said than done.
If it did happen again, then you know, obviously, the lesson that's come from what happened at Goodison Park is to do things differently, isn't it? To remain cool and keep those cool heads.
Yeah, but like I said, the players did this really well because they had to handle the same situations as I had. And it was a very difficult game for us. Everton made it a very tough game for us. In the end, we lost 2 points. Although we might have been a bit lucky if we would have got the win. But if I look at the last 20 minutes, the way we defended, what we all did to try to bring the win over the line, if it would have been there, okay, would have been perfect. Now you could look at it as us losing 2 points, but I think we won a lot over there as well. Not points, only 1 point. But what we did win over there was the togetherness from the players, the fans, together, how we were fighting for it in such a difficult circumstances. So I saw things of my team that I haven't seen a lot of this season because it wasn't necessary. Mostly we were having a good lead, or we were playing really well. This time we didn't play really well, but how much we fought for it, how much we stand together in such a difficult moment, gives me a lot of energy and a very good feeling for the last 14 games.
And does it give the players a lot of energy and good feeling as well? That extra little bit of togetherness that you said you hadn't seen before, you can channel that now into the remaining part of the season?
I've seen it a few times, but not in such a difficult circumstances. So I don't think we faced more adversity in 7 or 8 minutes than we faced over in those 7 or 8 minutes. And during the whole game, it was quite hostile. But I saw players coping with that much better than they did last season, mentally, I mean then. And that's the biggest win, the biggest gain we could get from this game. And that gives us, again, a lot of confidence for the upcoming 14 games, because we already knew that playing football, we are quite good in that. But for us to be mentally that strong over there, going down 1 goal, coming back without playing good football to having a 2-1 win, and after 97 minutes still be 2-1 up, tells me that this team is not only about great quality, but also about great mentality.
And even though it wasn't a great night, I know you weren't happy with the performance as well, you've alluded to that too, you're still in a really comfortable position at the top of the Premier League, and very much destiny is still very much in your own hands. So that is a positive, isn't it?
Yeah, that combined with what I just said a few times. I wasn't that happy the way we played, but it's also difficult circumstances. So the way the game went, So part of the game plan was, for example, make sure they can't play the ball that many times long to our defense, and unfortunately we made 20 fouls, so that led to the fact that they could bring the ball in 20 times because you can't press a free kick. So that led to the fact that the game was more maybe in their pattern than it was in our pattern. And what I mean with that is that they could play their style maybe even more than we could play it. And but we adapted to that. We fought ourselves through that. We answered in the right way, in my opinion, by defending all these free kick except for the first one that led to the goal. Very good. And unfortunately, they scored a late goal equaliser.
I know that Wednesday night was unique because it's a derby, because it was at Goodison Park and everything that was about Goodison Park on Wednesday night. But also you've spoken during this year about how difficult the second half of the season can be. And I remember at the start of the season, you said the fixture list was kind to you in your opening matches. Are you finding this second half of the season harder as a team?
I think in general, second half of the season for everyone is harder because teams are coming closer to the line, so they are fighting maybe even harder to stay up or to fight for Europe or for other positions in the league. I have to give a big compliment to David Moyes as well, because what he did after he came in has been outstanding. So he won, I think, 3 out of the first 4, and then this derby, his team played in the best possible way again, I think, getting away with a result, which maybe, if you just look at over 97 minutes, just from a football perspective, they deserve that point as well. Again, a very good manager comes in the league and makes it even more difficult for us to win a game against him, and that is also part of what can happen in the second half of the season, that teams become better. Some teams get new players in, some teams get new managers in. We've experienced this in Plymouth as well, with a new manager coming in and doing really well. So yeah, that's the second half of the season, but again, the way our players coped with that Wednesday evening gives me a lot of confidence for the last 14 games.
Does it give you a lot of confidence how your players will cope on the road? Because that would be, at Anfield, it seems so routine for you.
Of course, it's an advantage for every team to play a home game, especially if you have the fans that we have. But the fans were there for us Wednesday night as well, because I heard them a lot. And I think we stood together there as well. Playing at home at Anfield is an advantage, as it is for every team, I think, everywhere around the world to play home games. But we've been very strong in away games as well, partly because we have a great mentality, which was shown again Wednesday evening.
At breakfast, when they arrive, they're all together, and that seems to be a lot more visible, especially on the platforms that fans have seen. And is that something that you've changed as well, that they have breakfast together, for example? No, they've always had breakfast together. I think what has changed and what you see a lot is that, and that wasn't my idea, we've created a coffee bar over here, and that is what you see a lot. So you have done something then? No, that wasn't my idea, but it was done by the club, and it's been a great idea because players are in and around that coffee bar a lot. They chat, they give off good vibes and stuff like
that. Definitely, I have to give a big compliment also to the one that's leading the coffee bar, Alex. Always finds the right music for the right players and always gives the right vibe over there. Has good coffee and good tea as well. But so that has been a good asset to what we already had in this great building. And that's what you see a lot on social media, that players sit down over there and talk to each other, have a lot of fun together. So that's not something I need to get the credits for, but that's something that the club did.
But it goes to show at the start of this interview, when you talked about that togetherness, that spirit, that fight you have all within, it kind of starts in the coffee bar as well.
Yeah, true. But yeah, if you have a coffee bar and you don't have results, probably you don't see the same.
True. If you're not top of the league.
No, you don't see the same vibe over there. But I think it all adds towards success. So where I believe in that you need to have a good training ground, you need to have a good program, but you definitely need to have good people. So if you have a coffee bar and someone is working at that coffee bar and doesn't bring the right vibe in, it probably doesn't work as well. So you can come up with all the brilliant ideas, but in the end people make it a success, and that is what has been done great by this club. I took a few people that I think are doing their job really well and are good human beings as well, but the one that already works here were great professionals and great human beings also, and add that to a great facility, great players, and again, great mentality, then that can lead to a successful period till now.
Good stuff, Arne. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.